Live from New York, this is WIUR Radio.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, John DeKekis, to my show, my very, very favorite show, East Coast Ethos, where we talk all things basketball, pro ball, amateur, college, you name it. And I'm here with a very special guest today. Who am I with today?
How y'all doing? My name is Aiden. Also, I own a student. He knows ball. I don't really know ball, but we here.
We're going to make do, man. We're going to make do. It's going to be a great episode. We got a lot to talk about. And we're going to try some new segments today. We're further into the semester. We're here in Murphy, in the highest peak of Murphy.
Mhm.
All right. We can feel the wind in here. A lot of vibes.
Third floor.
The vibes are immaculate. Okay. It's getting warmer day by day. And, I just want to start a little bit by asking Aiden, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Aiden, 20 years old, born and raised in New Rochelle, New York. Lived a little bit in Costa Rica. I played basketball for a couple of years in Costa Rica. Although my ball knowledge is not up to par, not where it should be, but it's okay. And I'm honestly here because my boy John asked me to be here. And,
There we go. Well, lucky for you, Aiden, today we're not going to be focusing too much on current basketball. We're going to be touching on it, but we're going to be diving more into what basketball means, memories, events, anything surrounding the idea of basketball, right? People we've met. So I just want to start a little bit with what's your history with the sport? Playing aside, what kind of memories have you garnered over the years with basketball?
dude, I remember when I was like what, 10 years old, first time going to the YMCA, and I went with my dad and my brother. And it was three of us versus three. It was like symmetry. 3v3, dad, two sons, and I kid you not, we whooped. And it wasn't even me, to be honest with you. My brother at the time was actually he was playing basketball. My dad has played basketball his entire life, and I'm all right. I'm not here to toot my own horn,
Okay. We got a humble soul in here. Okay. You don't gotta be too humble though, you can be honest. But yeah, that's great to hear, honestly. It's good to hear how that kind of brings families and
Yeah,
even
it
people
does.
you don't really know together.
Yeah.
The beauty about a sport like this, not just a sport, is the place we live, the city. New York City is often considered the basketball mecca. They
it's
call
true.
Madison Square Garden the basketball mecca, but realistically, it's the whole city. It's the culture, So this is a segment I like to call the Rucker Rewind. Okay, where we go back in time and we relive some of those memories. So you mentioned going back with your family to the YMCA, spending time with people you never met before, and still
Mhm.
enjoying an experience. Um, what else prompted you to kind of get into basketball? Like aside from the family stuff, was there any teams that you followed?
When I started playing basketball in Costa Rica, I I really enjoyed it, but the player who really got me into it was John Morant. I have this affinity for jumping. I actually broke my wrist once because I jumped too high.
Mhm.
And I remember whenever I watched John Morant play, it was like a spectacle to me. It was the most insane thing ever. I love watching him just yam it on people's heads and just go crazy, and the crowd would go wild. It was amazing. I have a jersey at home. I love it. But honestly, like there was that, but I think that the communionship that basketball brings, like you say, New York is the mecca. It's the community, all these different courts that are around the place that everyone just communes to. It's such a cultural aspect. I feel like if you're from New York and you can't even dribble the ball, are you really from New York? You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Are you really from New York? That's a great question. And maybe we should go onto the sidewalks of Lower East Side and start asking people that with a microphone. But yeah, honestly, I have a similar affinity, even though I got like a 10-inch vertical, maybe less, honestly. Um, Growing up, I grew up with the New York Knicks. Of course, if anybody who's watching has followed my past 5 episodes, you know I'm a diehard Knicks fan, diehard New York fan in general, excluding the Brooklyn Nets. But
Mhm.
you know, growing up, I really loved and enjoyed watching Russell Westbrook on OKC.
Facts.
You know, and, even on the Knicks, Nate Robinson, 5'8" guy, like closer to my height. You know, I'm like 5'10", but he could really get up there. You know, it's like guys that have that kind of like leap. You know, like Superman. Watching Dwight Howard in the dunk contest. You know, it's just
I
as a
remember
kid,
that.
it's fun, right? Like
Yeah,
watching
I
guys
remember.
just get up, poster a dude,
Bro, it's not the
yam on
same no
them.
more, bro. It's not the dunk contests that they have in the NBA are just not the same. I
Tell me
remember,
about that.
bro, I remember Dwight Howard. Oh my god, I remember when he used to go crazy. I wasn't really like alive during the time, but I remember I remember alive. I wasn't
Okay.
really paying attention,
Right,
but I
right.
remember watching all the old clips of different people in the dunk contest. It was just like Shaq. Oh my god, like there's so many different ways you can dunk a ball, right? But then I feel like it's gotten to a point where you just kind of got to repeat it and amplify, So I feel like that's the creativity that's missing in the dunks nowadays, and that's why I like John Moran so much because like his physical capabilities allowed him to do so much with the ball. It's like playing 2K and just watching it in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a real acrobatic finisher.
Yeah.
Like if you remember that reverse layup that he did, that fake layup.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I remember I was watching that game and I was like, yo, there's no way. I was sitting there, jaw dropped. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, he's a fun player to watch. So, kind of expanding on that, who would you say that you model your game after when you play?
you know, so I'm not really a shooter.
Okay.
I can't. You give me the ball, maybe 3, 4 times out of 10, I'll make it.
Okay, that's not a bad
But
percentage.
but it's all right. But I think that someone you mentioned before, Russell Westbrook, when I was very young, before John Morant came to where he was is
Mhm.
whatever. Russell Westbrook watching OKC and watching that team was just like incredible to me. I wish I had the money at the time to buy a jersey, but I didn't. But I remember watching Russell Westbrook and wanting to be able to facilitate the ball like that, wanting to be able to dunk the ball, wanting to be able to finish as strong as he would. I
You want to
wish it
hit
still
triple
was the
doubles,
same.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my thing.
So which OKC team are we talking about? Which year? There's
Um
been a lot of different OKC
we're
teams.
talking like back when what was that, like 2016, 17, around there, was it? I don't know, maybe a little earlier, more or less.
You're
I can't
talking
remember.
about when Westbrook was like Oladipo and those guys. Okay, a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, those that 2016 Russell Westbrook run where he was I think he won MVP in
Yep.
2016.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a fantastic year, but I also can't forget, like the 2011, 2012 run where they made the finals but couldn't get past the Heat. That was a
Yeah.
heartbreaker for me. I grew up a LeBron hater. So, watching that happen, obviously OKC wasn't my team, but I had a similar affinity to Russell Westbrook, KD, Serge Ibaka, those guys. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. So have you been keeping up with the games recently at all? Anything
Um,
NBA,
I
college?
mean, recently I went to the OKC Nets game I
Mhm.
was telling you about the other day.
Yes.
Um, Unfortunately, I got we were given tickets, me and my family, so we went and we got to go see the Nets get blown out by OKC, which was horrible because we were in the Barclays. Everyone was just heads down, not paying attention to the game after like the halftime. It was bad. But I think this OKC team,
Mhm.
they really deserve that chip. They like that was they're an amazing team to watch. Like I think it's so fun and they're so young. So I think that there's a lot of room for them to grow, to continue to grow, even after they won the chip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, there's a lot of critics this year that are saying, they can't repeat. They went 7 games last year with a team that had their star point guard go down in game 7. So even Shea Gilgeous Alexander came out and said, we didn't play as hard as we could have last finals. So what do you think about maybe just from the outside in the competition against a team like that?
Um, Well, first off, weren't they? They're on a streak right now, right? They
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
lost a game in I don't know how many
They
games.
clinched the first seed.
Yeah, and looking at it from the outside in, I think that they are definitely one of the well, obviously one of the top contenders in the NBA right now, right? I think that you know what was unfortunate. I really think that Halliburton, like he deserved that a lot. I like to watch OKC, but I know all of us who were watching that series. My God, it was like I remember he made that shot to go. What was it to go into overtime or something like that?
Against the Knicks.
Against the Knicks.
I don't like talking about that.
No, that
moment.
was
That double bounce on the back of the rim.
my God. It was I was watching it with my friend and we were at the beach. It was just me and him and we had our phone like this. I kid you not, we got up and just started walking around in circles, heads on our head. Like it was amazing, you know. But I mean, obviously I'm not as informed as I should be about basketball right now, but I think OKC has a chance, you know. Why wouldn't they be able to repeat? They're on a streak right now. Their team is looking solid. If they continue to thrive, continue to push, for sure, they definitely are
Yeah.
gonna be able to repeat.
No, yeah, they're an incredible team. They're all around like they're 12 guys deep. You know, it's 12 people on a roster you can just put in at any moment.
Mhm.
They could win you a game. So that's fair to think. But let's touch back on that Knicks series that you were just referring to. So me personally, I remember where I was during that double bounce in game one against the Pacers. I believe we were up 16 points going into the fourth quarter. We started making a comeback by the end of the third. And then by the fourth quarter, I believe Nemhard and Neesmith started heating up. And then the game, I believe they were down two or were they down three? No, they were down three because they made a three.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tyrese Halliburton hits a bounce off the back of the rim.
So dramatic.
1, 2, into the hoop. So let me tell you guys something for context. Where I was at the time, I was at a sports bar, my little local sports bar with some boys of mine. And we were watching the game, and I was geeking out, man. I was having the time of my life. I was like, okay, we're taking game one. And you take game one, obviously you have very high odds of taking the whole series. It's just how it is statistically. So as soon as the first bounce hit the back of the rim, I started celebrating. I started going crazy. I started running around the sports bar up and down, and people were looking at me crazy. I'm like, why are they looking at me like that with such like a judgmental tone? I look at the TV again. My friend pulls me aside. He goes, "Bro, are you serious?" I say, "What's up?" They scored. So to this day, I still have that memory in my head. So anytime somebody brings that up, it's like a sleeper agent. I can't, man. It's like it's traumatic, you know. So it's like little stuff like that, Pacers, Pistons almost beating us, like the Celtics, like the hate from the Celtics fans last year. It's like a big thing. So yeah, that's just my perspective on that. But let's go back on this for a second, right? So how would you say how influential would you say like the sport and like the ethos of basketball is? Because that's what we do on this show is we talk about the ethos of the sport and every league surrounding it, how it brings people together. How do you think that kind of maybe formed your friendships?
You know, this is a kind of apart from it, but for me, I'm not an aggressive person at all, right? I am not aggressive. I will use my words instead of my fists. But
Fair enough.
when it comes to basketball, I get a little ecstatic, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember I was on a team, we were playing a game, this was in Costa Rica, and this kid, right? I go to make a layup, kid fouls me, I lay the ball up and one. I'm on the floor, my teammates are there, and this kid gets up in my face. And in Spanish, he was like, "What? What's up?" And I'm like, "Yo, I just finished in your face." And I get up in front of him, I'm like, pause. and I get up and I'm like, what? And I remember after that, I went shot at Leos. We were on a timeout, and my coach was like, "Yo, Aiden, don't do that again. I like the passion. but I will sit you down for the rest of this game if you start fighting with someone. And I mean, like, that's just kind of the emotion that comes with sports, like if you are an athlete and you know what it's like to be in the game under the pressure with everyone watching and you like there's so much energy, you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that with my friends that we love to do. I have my best friend in Costa Rica, we would play basketball all the time. And so I was, let's just say the sports in Costa Rica is not great, right? Basketball is not that big. It's getting bigger, but whatever. So when me and him would play, we would play against each other because he was the only other person who could really guard me. Again, not to toot my own horn, but he was the only person who could really get up in front of me, right? So we would always be butting heads because it was just that's what happened. We were both competitive, energetic people. So and it's crazy because after the fact we can start pushing each other, we can start screaming at each other, but after we're done, dab each other up, and we go do something else. It's like it's as if the argument never happened. Why? Because it's basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like that energy is something that comes with it. That emotion is just if you are competitive, you're an athlete, you know what it's like, and there's no hard feelings. It's just part of the game. And I think that emotion is something that really draws or brings friends closer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the competitive spirit. It's one side wins, one side loses. That's just how every sport works. We can't be giving out participation trophies. You know what I mean?
Right. That's something I always hate.
Right. So we'll be back within the minute, guys. We're gonna run a quick ad for our next segment, and we'll be right back.
Untouchable, unstoppable.
This is WIUR Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Robbie Basil, president of WIUR Radio, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Have you ever wanted to call the biggest games, the biggest moments for the biggest names for Iona Athletics? Then the newly founded WIUR Sports Radio is the place to be. Launched in January of 2025, our goal is to try and get broadcasters here at Iona an opportunity to learn, succeed, and get a chance to be on air. From getting to call the big moments at the hack,
Dinkins trying to go to the rack, denied, Yafet Mundi,
to seeing the crack of the bat at City Park.
the line drive into left field, around third, and it kicks away. The Gales are going to win it in 10.
We make those moments happen on our brand new WIUR Sports Radio platform on Mixer. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me via email or to the rest of my e-board to join the club. We are WIUR Sports Radio, the new home of Iona Athletics. Now, back to the show on WIUR, Iona University Radio.
Welcome back, guys. We are back to East Coast Ethos with our second segment. With this segment, we're just going to expand a little bit, maybe relating a little bit basketball to real life. So I'm just going to start with asking you a very concise question, Aiden. How do you think the competition that you've exuded on the court kind of relates to the rest of your life, work, school, anything?
So, me, myself, I'm a very ambitious person, right? I have high standards, high goals for myself. I know where I want to go. I know where I'm going to take my life, right? And I always do everything I can to my best ability. And whenever I'm with someone who is like that, who is as driven, as passionate, as competitive as I am, it's almost as if I kind of rebound off that. So I tend to make everything I do a competition, which may or may not be a good or bad thing, whatever. But I like for example, grades. I get a 99 on an exam. A friend of mine gets an 100. I'm like, yo, I gotta do better. There's no way, right? And I come back, study even harder, and I go for that 100 plus if I can. Actually, the other week, I had a friend. She got 100. I got a 99. The second exam, took it. I got 104. She got 100. Yeah, not to toot my own horn. But yeah, I really, really think that being competitive in everything you do really it kind of drives you to that next level, right? Because if you don't put in the sufficient amount of effort into whatever it is you're doing, you'll never get to that goal, right? I have a goal of being financially free, having my kids and my future spouse to, be in a place where they don't have to worry, right? I want to make sure that I am so great and at such a level that everything's going to be okay, right? So I think that that competitiveness in me helps me strive for that ambition.
So, would you say there's transferable skills and qualities from playing a team sport like that to life?
100%. Discipline is something that I 100% try and apply to everything I do. Now, discipline is a hard thing to keep consistent, as I'm sure a lot of us know, but it's something that we all should 100% keep at the top of our mind. Why? Because consistency in everything we do is key. Making sure that we're disciplined on, let's just say, if you're a writer, right? If you're a writer, you make sure that you write at least 30 minutes a day. You write at least one page a day and you're disciplined about it. You're consistent about it. You write one page for a whole year straight. By the end of it, you're 100% going to be a better writer, you know? So I think that that discipline that I got from team sports, that I got from my dad as well, is is something that I definitely keep close to me.
And you mentioned that your father grew up playing basketball, right?
Yeah.
So one would say, maybe he got those skills from playing the sport as well.
Yeah.
It's very important to grow up playing team sports. There's a reason that a lot of schools encourage
Mhm.
children to get into sports and to have that sense of camaraderie, and it may seem unrelated, but even in professional leagues, you see a lot of the times the issues that teams may have is due to the lack of that discipline or camaraderie,
Right.
right? That kind of selfish basketball, for example.
Mhm.
That's not innate. That's taught. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So uh, I think it's fair to say that these transferable qualities from basketball to all these memories that we were talking about earlier on in the episode all kind of has a partial impact in how we are today. And that's kind of the goal of today's episode, was to just kind of reminisce a little bit today about how we grew up with the sport and how we came to be today. And I don't know, I would say it's been a great ride. How about you?
It's been what we're talking about right now, or just sports in general, like so
In
for everything.
general,
You know,
everything.
everything. Honestly, I'm very, very grateful to be able to have had the experience in team sports, to have learned that discipline, that drive, that hunger for more. Like I really blame sports for a lot of my positive attitude today.
Right. And here we're just going to try and wrap up the episode, guys, because we're winding down on time. But thank you so much for watching. And my guest here, Aiden, is there anything you would like to, shout out? Any people, anything?
Well, firstly, I'm new around here, but one thing that I hold close to me as well is my skill for photography. I am starting up a photography business called Refractions. If you look me up on IG, Refractions by AG, you'll find me there. Any types of photos, graduation, sports, whatever it may be, I'm your guy. So I appreciate you, John. This was a very fun conversation, honestly. First time doing this. And yeah, thank you.
As always. And just piggybacking off of what he just said, guys, this guy's a whiz with the camera. If anybody who needs something in sports, basketball, football, doesn't matter. The camera's a camera, all right? That's his business. That's his Instagram handle. So just from his shout out, please hit him up. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in,
Thank
and
you.
God bless you all.